So you finally get the opportunity to grab that interview and you're going to get to present your ideas and show them in front of everybody. A little hesitant, a little worried. Let's talk about it. So I'm so happy for you to finally be able to get an interview. It's exciting, it's nerve-wracking, it's all sort of things that come with the opportunity to start showcasing your skills to somebody that actually look to you and say, yo, I want to pay you money for this. You're doing really good. I just want to go over a few tips that I found very helpful for myself and for other people when it came to preparing for interviews, conducting the interviews or being in the interview phase, and also what you could do afterwards that could really just help set you up on feeling more relaxed and calm about the whole situation. Everybody has a nervousness with performing in front of an interview because you just never know what to expect, but there's some things that you can do and that we can do to make it a little bit easier. So before your interview, there's a few things that you want to do. The first thing that I think is really important is really look up that company, look up their brand statements, their mission statements, and their value proposition. Why? Because you want to know what this company thinks of. What is their perspective of the world? What is their outlet on how they want to do designs? I think this is really important for us to do because you want to start building empathy for that company now. Not going into straight of, I want to help your users, I want to help do that, but they're your first customer. They're your first user that you have to work with. You have to understand, why do we care about the people the way we do? How do we let them know we care about it? Those type of things. And I think it's really important for you to understand and do some research to get a baseline of what they're really looking for. You're not going in there to do it for a bunch of suits or stiffs, or maybe even if you are, you still want to empathize because those are the people you're going to be working with, getting approvals from, and helping them to reach their goals as well outside of the users. Another thing you could determine, which you probably could have done before, is this company somebody that you want to work with? Yes, they are important and you're trying to serve them and try to serve their customers, but are they going to be able to serve you? You can't neglect yourself for their cause if they're not going to be providing a mutual benefit that you can see. So it's really important that you look and see, are these the missions that I want to take on? Is this a company culture that I think will be aligned with me? Who are the people I'll be working with? Are they expertise in their own field? You just gotta really understand, is this gonna be aligned for me as much as my skills are gonna be able to provide value for them? Next thing you get to do is get a sense of their brand identity. Yeah, it sounds like a little bit too technical that we're going on before the interview, but if you know how they speak, you can speak to their language. If you know that they talk on a very slow pace where it's like, we are the ones to get you taken care of, you can understand that when they are speaking with you in the interview, that's probably how they're going to come off. That's probably some of the values that they share. Or if they're super excited, super crazy, super happy brand that's always talking high pitch and always doing this, you can really start to understand that this is the type of communication that I'll be working with. This is how I'll be talking to my customers. This is how they want to be portrayed. So you really start want to understanding of how they are positioning themselves in the world through their content, their flows, their apps. You just really want to get a sense so you're not caught off guard of, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was such a serious company. I thought it was super lighthearted and I really wanted a lighthearted company. Save yourself some trouble. Another thing that you get to do, which is really helpful, is you get to explore some of their flows and really start to write down questions about their design culture and ask them questions on why they did certain things. One thing that I found super helpful was like just jumping into Google reviews and start looking at what are customers, what are people that are actually using this product saying about this thing, and then ask them the question of, I've seen this, can you let me know a little bit more of how we came to these decisions? Great, this is how I think a solution would work from that decision. So you could make it a little bit more conversational. It's not really attack to say, see, I saw you guys got a 2-star because you guys suck. Why? Why? You're not trying to really hit it at that point. You're just trying to make it so when you have your questions, you're really understanding, hey, what are we doing to mitigate this customer problem today? How could we mitigate something like that in the future? What suggestions could we do or to acknowledge to get through that next time? These are things that you're going to be able to work on and ask as a question base, and it just helps you, it helps them, and it keeps it a little bit a little bit formal, but a little bit informal at the same time, where you can just have a discussion about how you can improve the experience and what's important in your line of work as well. So during the interview, I think a lot of people get really distracted as to what they should be doing. So one thing that I recommend is, as you set up your script, as you prepare the hell out of it to make sure that it's the best thing that you can do, remember, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna have pauses in your flow. You're gonna have moments when you're like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have said that. Why am I saying that? While you're still speaking. And you wanna just get really comfortable with the fact that you're going to get things wrong. No matter what you do, who you are, how much you practice, there's always a chance that something goes off rails, or you get a question asked that's not really something you were expecting. Don't worry about it. Just take a second if you need to, pause, continue on. People don't know unless you show them that it was a grave mistake. So if it's a small mistake, or if it's a grave mistake, a small mistake, take the time to just be like, okay, yeah, so this is what I meant when I said this. They understand, they're under pressure because they want to like you, you want to like them. So you're both in the same boat. And going off that point, remember, they are also pressured and nervous within that interview. Yes, they have the authority and they're the one that's going to say, I want to work with you or not. But what happens in the situation that they have a candidate that they really like and they come across all the check boxes that they need, and now you're getting brought into an interview that could be that candidate, and now they're like, okay, please be exactly what you say you are on paper. Oh my gosh, you are. We have to make sure that we don't trip up and make this person think that we're a horrible company. They're playing the other side of this tug of war with you. So relax. You're both there. You're both setting expectations of what you want to do, how do you want to work with people, and you're both trying to figure out, is this the right fit? So it's okay to feel the nerves, but don't let it overtake you, because the next person alongside of you could also be feeling the same way. This one I think is super important when you're going through the interview process. You want to focus on the decisions and the reasons of your designs, not the designs themselves. So when you're walking through your portfolio, they can see, I made a box here, I added gradient here, I had this typography here and this copy here, and I made these things look this specific way. They can see it visually within that. There might be somebody that has accessibility issues where they can't really see the colors or so as well. You could always say and bring things up for that and say like, yeah, I chose this color and things like that. But in all, there's nobody that's looking at your designs and being like, I can't see anything. I don't understand that there's a box there for the majority. So when you're going and you're doing your designs, if you say, for example, you chose a pastel color, like a pastel yellow for your baby brand, you can say a lot of what the research indicates is that these colors are a little bit more soothing to the child, and it's easier and more aligned with children's type of work and children's type of designs, that I chose this color to reflect that and be a part of that space. I wanted the branding immediately to catch people and say, this is a child and baby friendly branding. Not just say, well, you can see here we used yellow, and then with the yellow we added a little bit of green to it that was like kind of like a pastel color. It's like they can see it, they know it. You don't have to over explain it. And also, there are going to be moments that you're going to be challenged by whoever's interviewing you. That's okay. You have to come in with the mentality that I could have been wrong with my approach. I could have gotten something wrong. I don't have all the facts. I don't have everything clear. And you just engage and you go with them along that side of thinking. So what I encourage you to do is kind of leave your ego at the door, and when they say something, use it as an opportunity to collaborate and get them to expand and grow on the idea. Then just say, no, I did the research, everything was done. No, I don't need to look into it any further. Maybe you didn't ask that specific question in your research or something. Be balanced, be fair. Not everybody was there when you were doing it, so it's okay to engage them to get them educated and alongside with you. Another thing that you want to start doing is coming after the interview. A lot of people recommend just sending a thank you email, recapping what did you talk about, what was your favorite thing about the interview, and saying I'm looking forward for when we hear back. this can really help, because not only are you trying to get people to see your work and know you as your work, but they want to get that more personable side of you and talk to you as a human being. If you go the extra mile and try to get them to really understand, like, hey, this wasn't an interview that I just did and it was just like, whatever you guys decide, I don't care. Like, you know what? I followed up, I listened, I paid attention. I like these suggestions you gave, and like, I'm really happy. It can also show you when you're presenting your work or you're doing something in the business setting, how do you follow up with a meeting agenda and let people know, like, hey, this is a recap. This is why you should remember me, because they might have been going through so many things, but then you could go in that email and give a list of things for them to be like, oh, these are important considerations when I spoke with Jermaine. Awesome. Like, let me go back to that email and like see what it is, versus you go see multiple candidates, you don't have anything from some of them, and they're just like, what did that person say? What did we talk about? I don't know. So that's something that's super helpful for yourself. And also, another thing that you could look to do is just give yourself a break. Just take a second, take a breath, do some meditation, not care about the interview, not care about the process or sending the email. Like, right as soon as you're done, give yourself a break, let yourself decompress, because it's stressful. Interviews are stressful because you're using your brain, you're trying to stay active, you're trying to look at things. So just be calm, go through it, go through the emotions of it. It happens to us all, and just accept the fact of it. So, did you enjoy these tips that we shared? Do you have any other tips that you've noticed were really helpful within interviews? Be sure to leave a comment below and let us know what you know in the subject. Other than that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. And if you have any more topics that you want to talk about, let me know. I'm here to help as a guide. So, let's continue this journey together. Peace.